Hi everyone, it's Sue. I'm back today with just a little video. Apologise for my voice. I've managed to get a cold. So if I sound breathless, that's why. Anyway, I made this pocket in the last Friday Night Live, and I really enjoyed putting it together. Now I know that not everybody watches the lives or can attend the lives, so I thought since I was really happy with the outcome, I would make one here and show you what I've done. So it's just this little see-through pocket and just a really simple little tag that goes in there. So you could do it, could put anything in here if you like. So I've done it so that the wings on the bee are three-dimensional and also the flowers three-dimensional. So the stamps that I'm using are available in my shop. I will put the link down below. And they're darkroom door stamps, so they're Australian made. They stamp absolutely beautiful every time. I haven't had an issue with them before, so we'll get started. All I'm using is just a file folder here, just a file folder that I've torn apart. And I just need to make this piece here, this whole piece here that I've made into the pocket, 5 inches by 7. So I'm just going to cut that now. Trying to think if I could get 2 out of this width, but I can't. So I'm going to go here 5 by 7. Okay, so this will make up our pocket. So all I'm going to do is just fold this in half. Let's pop my glasses on so I can see what I'm doing. Fold that in half. And so this is your pocket. So the reason I folded it in half first was because I found when I did this, I wanted the label centered. But it was a little bit to the right. So at least with the fold, I can actually see where the center is and try and line up this stamp the best I can. So this is the first stamp that I'm going to be using. It's a vintage label. It's a frame stamp from Darkroom Door. So I'm really, really happy with it. So I'm just going to use Vintage Photo in the archival ink. I'm just going to try and line it up fairly straight so I know where it is. Sorry if my head's in frame. I think it's crooked. Doesn't matter. Okay, so it's more centered, which is good. It is a little bit crooked, but I'm not going to worry about that. Just excuse me for a minute. Sorry about that. Every time without fail when I try and do a video, someone rings. Okay, so I've cut that, sorry. I've stamped that. Now I'm going to cut that. I'm going to cut the center out to make the peekaboo part. So I just need to find a ruler. I'm just going to cut about approximately, I'm not measuring in, but just about 1/8 of an inch in, And I'm just following that line. I'm not doing a very good job of it today. So if you hope you're all keeping really well. I know a lot of the ladies in Australia that follow me, they're in lockdown, which is not good. So I do think of you all quite often. Okay, so this is just really horrendous. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this video today. I'm just feeling really, really off, but that's not too bad. We will go with that. So all I did then was I just wanted to ink the inside of that, just lightly. And I'm going to put a notch in the top as well so that we can get our tag out. So just inked that really roughly. Oops. And I'm just going to put a notch in here. And ink that as well. So I'm just using some transparency, so I'm just trying to find that I just got from our local office supply store. So I think if we mark it about there, so I cut it about there. So I'm just roughly lining this up with the lines on my mat here. I did cut this previously on with the cutter and it didn't like it very much. It did cut it, but it did struggle a little bit, so I just thought I'd use my blade while I've got it out. And I want to cut it about here. So I'm just eyeballing all this. The only thing that drives me mad about this acetate is that it's really quite staticky. So I know there's a static cloth that you can get. I need to get one so you can wipe that over. Okay, so I'm just going to glue around all four sides of that and stick that down. I can get my glue to work. So don't use a lot. Just a little bit around all four sides. So I've learnt using acetate. If you use too much, it'll seep into the window. You'll have this glob of glue. I don't know why my glue's decided to play up. I'm just going to bring it down so that it doesn't run into that notch. Run over that notch, I mean. And don't do what I just did and stick your dirty fingers on there. So I've got a glob of glue on there now. Okay. And then I'm just going to run a bead of glue on two sides here to just hold that closed, and then I'm going to actually sew this. You don't have to sew, once again. I just think it finishes it off. Make sure it's straight. What is going on here? Okay, so there you have your pocket. So I'm just going to quickly sew around the three sides. So I've sewn around that, and I'll just trim some of this thread off. And then you have a pocket. So you could stamp the back part of this if you wanted to, the inside part, so that when you take the tag out, there's an image there as well. You can ink it. I'm quite happy with the way that that looks, so I'm just going to leave it like that. So I'm just going to roughly ink around the sides there as well. So easy, so easy. So we're going to do the bee. Now I have stamped a couple and coloured them so prior to this video, and I'm just trying to show you the pen that I've used to colour in the bee. It's just a K's Colour gel pen, and it's I'm not even sure what the colour is. Doesn't actually say. I mean, it's yellow, but it's a yellow gold. So I'll just stamp it again and just show you how beautifully these stamps stamp up. So this is the other set that I'm using, and this one is called Buzzing Bees, and this bee is this one here. So they're a little bit bigger than the picture. So you've got all these other bees to choose from as well. So I think I can see a bee journal, another bee journal in my future with this stamp set. So, and once again, I'm just using the Tim Holtz Distress Archival ink. I do have those in my shop as well. If you're interested, I'll pop the link down below. So isn't that beautiful? And it's such a detailed stamp. I'll hold it up. I hope it doesn't go too blurry. But you can see all the little hairs on the bee's legs there as well. It's amazing. Okay, so I'll just pop that to the side, and we will cut one of these out. So I just going to pop it on the corner. So I'm just going to quickly cut this out. So there we have one bee cut out, and I'm going to, if I can find my Stays on ink, I'm going to do the wings to get that 3D effect, and I'm just going to stamp stamp it out again on some acetate, sorry. It's on my desk. Okay. Oops. There we go. Stamped it again. I probably could have just stamped across the wings, but I'm clearly not thinking straight. Just going to clean my stamp straight away because the Stays on ink stains them really well. I'm just going to clean it as best I can. There we go. So what I'm going to do is I basically just want the wings, and I'm just going to cut the round part of the body out that is attached to the wings. So I'll just do that and I'll show you what I mean. So I just want an anchor point is what I'm trying to say for the 3D wings. So I'm just cutting his eyes off and around the body there. And there you have it. And then all I did was just added a dab of glue. Once again, you don't need much because it's going to, because of the plastic at the back, the plasticky feel of the acetate, it'll spread. So I'm just popping that down over the wings, and it moves, as you can see. So I'm just going to apply pressure so that the glue actually adheres. So I'm just going to hold that for a second and let that adhere, and then we'll have this beautiful bee. So I'm going to adhere it to the corner here of this pocket, but I'm only going to just glue the body so that both the cardboard wings and the acetate wings are free. I think that should be adhered enough now. And then also what I did was I just used my fingernail. You can use a bone folder if you like. And I've just sort of folded it back on itself just so that they stick up a bit. And you can see he's got 3D wings there now. Okay, and I'm just going to glue that. I'm happy with that, so I'm going to glue just through his body. And glue that down. Same thing, it's going onto plastic. So I'm just going to apply a bit of pressure and then just leave it, and it will just, isn't that just a beautiful bee? It's just gorgeous. You could probably, even if you wanted to, which I probably will now thinking of it, his little legs, because if it's, depending on whether you're going to have it as a floating pocket or a pocket that glues in, you don't want it getting caught. Okay, so I'm going to be using the same stamp set, and I'm using the flower out of it. You can see there, and you can see, as I said, with the bee there, the image is quite a little bit smaller than the actual stamp. And what I did was I just used two different colours of, what do you call it, distress ink. So crushed olive and worn lipstick is what I'm going to use. And I just inked the top part of the flower in the, can't get the lid off, in the worn lipstick. and then just did the stem in the crushed olive and then just stamped that down. Just on a scrap of card. Go. And then I also want another piece of the actual flower, so I'm just going to stamp that bit again, and I'm just going to stamp it in this image, in this area here, sorry. And we're going to fussy cut that out. And that will give us this flower here that I've done. Okay, so you can see that. That's still wet. So just to save some time, I have already cut one out. And this is what it looks like. And then this is a piece for the top that will make it look 3D. Okay. So I am going to glue that down here. And because the flower is coming off the edge of the card, it'll have to be a pocket that goes on the right-hand side in your journal. This would make a nice little gift card as well, birthday card, greeting card. So I'm just going to glue, I've just got my thumb where it's going to be sticking off the side of the card, so you don't want glue there. But I'm just going to make sure I've got glue everywhere else. Once again, it's going onto the acetate, so we just need to make sure that we apply a bit of pressure and make sure it sticks there. Okay, so you could leave it like that if you wanted to. So I just wanted to take it a little bit further, and I've added a little bit of cheesecloth in there just to give it some texture, and I've popped it up with a foam square. I'm just going to cut a bit of coffee dye cheesecloth. No real rhyme or reason to it. I'm just sort of gluing it in there, and once it's glued and dried, I will just pull any excess away. So get more in there, I guess, than what you think you'll want, because you can pull the excess away. So that's what that looks like there. And then these are really old foam squares, so I'm actually adding glue just to make sure that they will stick down. So just stick it on top of the cheesecloth again. And I'm just going to glue the bottom half of this flower. Might go up here a little bit. So it's just a matter of lining it up and pressing it down. And there you have a 3D flower. That little corner bit there is not wanting to glue at the moment. And then you can, once that's dry, I won't pull it out now, but you can just pull some of that cheesecloth so that it ruffles up a bit. It came up really cute. Okay, so now we're just going to quickly make the tag that's on the inside. Now, I'm just going to measure in between the stitching lines because I have come in a bit on the stitching line here. on the edge, I mean. So I need to make the card about, we'll say 3 inches wide by 4 1/4. And I'm just using the same file folder. So my cutter's cutting a bit rough there, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to rough those edges up anyway. I'm not sure why it's doing that. So I'm just going, in a moment, I'm going to use my little tool here to rough up the edges. You can use the edge of your scissors as well. It works just as well. And out of that same stamp set, I'm going to be using this honeycomb stamp. And once again, I'm just using the Distress Archival in black. I'm just going to stamp it on an angle. And what I've done is I haven't done the background, which I will need to do. So I probably could just do it on the top of that, but I haven't inked it properly and I've missed some of the stamp. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the back side of this card and I'm going to do the background. And for that, I just used Scattered Straw and Vintage Photo. I'm just randomly covering the tag. And then I'll do the same with Vintage Photo. You're probably wondering why I'm doing it on the back of this, because you'll still be able to see the stamp beat on the back, but I'm actually going to put this onto some craft cardstock. So you're not going to see that stamped image. So then all I did was just splotch some water over top of it. And then I'm going to take the ink off there with just some paper towel. So I've just rolled it over top and it will just take away the colour, reactivate the ink and take the colour away. So you could do it again if you want to. I'm not particularly worried. I'm just going to do it once. And then I'm going to stamp on top of that. Let's see if I can stamp it properly this time. There we go, that's better. So you can see the difference, how much nicer that even looks on that background compared to just a plain background. I just need to grab some craft cardstock. So I'm just going to be backing this onto the craft cardstock. So I'm just going to rough up the edges here on this card. There we go. And then I'll just add some ink around that, if I can find my applicator. So I'm not going to measure it, I'm just going to eyeball it and stick it on there approximately. And I'll be sewing this as well. So I've just got about 1/8 of an inch of the craft cardstock showing. And then I'm just going to cut that out. And I'm just going to sew around the 4 sides there. So I'll just do that and I'll be back. So I've sewn all around that. And once again, I'm going to just distress the craft cardstock. And I'm going to add a tab to the top. So I'm just going to punch a tab just out of this same piece of craft. But I also want to ink a little bit of honeycomb image on here. So I'm just going to use this corner. Fold it in half and then just glue that to the top. Doesn't really matter both much of a muchness, so it doesn't matter which one goes at the front. Then you've got all your craft cardstock on the back that you can write on. Add a photo. And do anything with that. could even, if you wanted to, you could stamp a smaller bee and add it on there as well, but it's just going to make it harder getting it in and out of the pocket. But that's totally up to you. So this is the one that I had made previously. And then I've just done this one in with the pink flower. And I haven't allowed for the craft cardstock on this one, have I? So I'm going to have to trim that down a bit. So when you're measuring like I did, make sure you measure for your finished card. I measured just for the first layer, not for the layer with the craft. So I just need to trim these sides down a little bit. Hopefully that'll fit in better there. Yep, it does. So there you have it. Such a cute little pocket. So I would probably just pin that in with a paper clip possibly, so that you've got journaling space on the back here, and then you've also got journaling space on the back of your tag. And then you can move it around your journal wherever you want. And then, as I said, you can just pull the, now that that's dry, you can sort of manipulate the cheesecloth so you can pull any extra bits off and just have it look really 3D there. Okay, so that's it, guys. Really simple little pocket, but really effective. As I said, I hope you're all keeping well, and until next time, I hope you get a little bit of crafting time in. See you soon.